My friends, I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now, because what I'm about to share with you could directly affect your income this month, next month, and for the rest of this year. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying it because I care about you, and because too many seniors right now are being blindsided by changes happening inside the Social Security Administration, the VA, and the federal budget. Changes that nobody in the mainstream media is sitting down to explain in plain English. But that's exactly what we're going to do today, right here, together. Whether you're receiving Social Security retirement benefits, SSI, SSDI, or VA disability compensation, or maybe a combination of more than one, there are shakeups happening right now that could mean more money in your pocket if you know what to look for, or less money if you don't pay attention to what's being quietly adjusted behind the scenes. And I don't want you to be caught off guard. You've worked too hard, sacrificed too much, and waited too long for these benefits to lose even $1 because nobody told you what was coming. Here's something that hits close to home for a lot of people watching right now. Think about a woman like Dorothy. She's 72 years old, lives alone in a small home in Georgia, and relies almost entirely on her $1,450 Social Security check every single month to pay her electric bill, her medications, and her groceries. She didn't know about the recent adjustments being made to how benefit offsets work. She didn't know there was a specific window to request a review of her payment amount. And she didn't know she might be leaving money on the table because of a little-known credit that many seniors in her exact situation qualify for. I don't want that to be your story. So stay with me, pour yourself a cup of coffee, and let's get into everything you need to know. Let's start with the headline, and then we'll break it all down piece by piece. The Social Security Administration has confirmed that several significant policy and payment adjustments are now taking effect or being phased in over the coming weeks. These changes touch virtually every category of recipient: retirement, disability, and supplemental income, and they come at the same time that the VA is rolling out its own round of benefit updates for veterans receiving service-connected compensation. Together, these two systems provide income to tens of millions of Americans over the age of 60. And right now, both of them are in motion. The word shakeup isn't an exaggeration. We're talking about changes to how payments are calculated, how direct deposits are being processed during certain holiday and calendar cycles, new thresholds for income and asset limits on SSI, ongoing adjustments tied to the 2025 cost of living adjustment that some people still haven't fully felt in their checks, and very real concerns about proposed federal budget measures that could affect benefit funding down the road. We're going to walk through all of it, slowly, clearly, and without any confusing government jargon, so that by the time this video is over, you will know exactly where you stand. Let's talk about COLA first, because this is something that affects every single person watching this video. The 2025 cost of living adjustment came in at 2.5%. Now, for a lot of people, that sounds like a small number. And honestly, many seniors feel like it didn't come close to keeping up with the real cost of groceries, rent, and prescription drugs. And they're right to feel that way. But understanding exactly how that 2.5% translated into your specific benefit amount is really important, because some people are still not receiving the full adjusted amount they're entitled to. Here's how the math works in real life. If you were receiving $1,500 per month before the COLA adjustment, a 2.5% increase should have brought your monthly payment up to approximately $1,737.50. If you're on SSI and were receiving the maximum individual benefit of $943 per month in 2024, your new maximum as of January 2025 should be around $967 per month. For couples on SSI, that number moved from $1,015 up to roughly $1,450. These are not huge jumps, but they are real money. And if your payment doesn't reflect these numbers, you need to call the Social Security Administration directly at 1-800-772-1213 or log into your My Social Security account online to check your current benefit statement. Here's something that surprises a lot of people. Some seniors had deductions or adjustments applied at the same time as the COLA increase, which made it look like they received no raise at all. Medicare Part B premium changes, overpayment recovery deductions, or SSI income recalculations can all eat into your COLA adjustment before it ever hits your bank account. If your check looked the same in January or February as it did last year, don't just assume everything is fine. Take the time to look at your itemized benefit statement, because there may be something quietly being subtracted that you have the right to challenge or appeal. I have to be real with you about something that's causing enormous stress for seniors right now. And that's the Social Security overpayment situation. Over the past year, the SSA has been sending out notices to hundreds of thousands of beneficiaries telling them they were overpaid in prior years and now owe that money back. We're talking about letters arriving in the mail saying things like, "You owe $8,000," or "We will begin withholding 100% of your monthly benefit until this debt is repaid." For someone living on a fixed income of $1,200 a month, that is devastating. Now, there has been some pushback on this, and here's what you need to know. Following widespread outcry from seniors, advocates, and members of Congress, the SSA announced an important policy change. They reduced the default overpayment withholding rate from 100% back down to 10% of your monthly benefit for new overpayment cases. That means instead of losing your entire check while they claw back what they claim you owe, they should now only be withholding about $120 to $150 per month from a typical benefit, unless you've been convicted of fraud. But here's the critical part. This protection is not automatic for everyone, and you have to know your rights. If you receive an overpayment notice, you have the right to request a waiver if the overpayment was not your fault and repayment would cause financial hardship. You also have the right to appeal if you believe the overpayment determination is incorrect. You have 60 days from the date on the notice to request that appeal, and if you do request it in time, the SSA must stop collections while your appeal is being reviewed. Please do not ignore these letters, but also please do not panic and simply accept whatever they're telling you without reviewing your options first. Now let's shift to our veterans, because the VA benefits landscape is also going through some very meaningful changes that every veteran and surviving spouse needs to understand. If you're a veteran receiving service-connected disability compensation, you also received the 2025 COLA increase of 2.5%, the same adjustment applied to Social Security. That means a veteran rated at 70% disability who was receiving around $1,116 per month should now be receiving approximately $1,659 per month. A 100% disabled veteran with no dependents who was receiving approximately $3,737 per month should now be seeing a payment closer to $3,130 per month. But beyond the COLA adjustment, there are two things happening at the VA right now that veterans simply cannot afford to sleep on. First, the VA is conducting what they call a benefits accuracy review across certain categories of recipients, particularly those receiving both VA disability compensation and military retirement pay. If you're in this group, sometimes called concurrent receipt, you need to make sure your records are up to date and that you're enrolled in the correct program, whether that's CRDP, Concurrent Retirement and Disability Pay, or CRSC, Combat-Related Special Compensation. Getting this wrong can cost you thousands of dollars per year. Second, for veterans using VA pension benefits, which is different from disability compensation, there are new income and net worth thresholds in effect for 2025. The maximum annual pension rate for a single veteran with no dependents is now approximately $16,551 per year, which breaks down to roughly $1,279 per month. If you have a spouse or a child, that number is higher. And for veterans who need help with daily living activities, the aid and attendance benefit can add another $877 per month on top of basic pension. If you are a veteran over 65 and you are not receiving any VA pension or disability compensation, I am strongly encouraging you. please call the VA at 1-800-827-1000 and ask for a benefits screening. You may be entitled to money you've never claimed. Let's take a moment and talk about payment timing, because this is something that genuinely causes anxiety for a lot of people living paycheck to paycheck on a fixed income. The Social Security payment schedule is based on your birthday, and it runs on a Wednesday cycle. If your birthday falls on the 1st through the 10th of the month, your payment arrives on the 2nd Wednesday. If your birthday is between the 11th and 20th, you receive payment on the 3rd Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and 31st, your check arrives on the 4th Wednesday. Now, one thing that's really important to keep in mind is what happens when a scheduled payment date falls on a federal holiday. In those cases, the SSA typically deposits your payment one business day early. This can throw people off when they're watching their bank account and the money arrives sooner than expected. Or, in some cases, if there's a banking processing delay, a day or two later than expected. If your payment is ever more than 3 business days late, that is when you should call the SSA to report it. Don't wait 2 weeks hoping it shows up. 3 business days late is your trigger to make that call. For SSI recipients, the payment schedule is slightly different. SSI is paid on the 1st of each month, but again, when the 1st falls on a weekend or holiday, payment is issued on the preceding business day. So if the 1st falls on a Sunday, you'd receive your SSI payment on the Friday before. This is not a mistake. This is not your payment being reduced. It is simply the calendar doing what the calendar does and the SSA processing it accordingly. Here's a topic that very few YouTube channels take the time to discuss with seniors, but it is incredibly important: the tax implications of your Social Security and VA benefits. Let me be clear and direct about this. If Social Security is your only source of income, you most likely do not owe any federal income tax on your benefits. However, if you have additional income from a part-time job, a pension, withdrawals from an IRA or 401k, or investment income, then up to 85% of your Social Security benefits can become taxable. The threshold works like this. The IRS looks at something called your combined income, which is your adjusted gross income, plus any non-taxable interest, plus half of your Social Security benefits. If that combined income is between $25,000 and $34,000 for a single filer, up to 50% of your benefits may be taxable. If it exceeds $34,000 for a single filer or $44,000 for a married couple filing jointly, up to 85% of your benefits could be subject to federal income tax. This is a planning issue, not just a tax issue, and a lot of seniors can reduce their taxable income significantly through smart timing of IRA withdrawals or strategic use of Roth conversions in the years before they claim Social Security. VA disability compensation, on the other hand, is completely tax-free at the federal level. If you're a veteran receiving service-connected disability pay, none of that income counts toward your combined income calculation for Social Security tax purposes. That's an important distinction that can actually benefit veterans who are receiving both VA and Social Security, because it keeps their combined income lower and may allow them to stay below those taxation thresholds. Now let's talk about some things you may not know you're entitled to, what I like to call the hidden money that far too many seniors are leaving on the table every single month. The first one is the Extra Help Program for Medicare prescription drug costs, sometimes called the Low Income Subsidy. If your income is below roughly $22,590 per year as a single person, or $30,660 for a couple, you may qualify for extra help, which can save you hundreds of dollars per year on your medications. You apply through the Social Security Administration, not Medicare, and millions of people who qualify have never applied simply because they didn't know it existed. The second strategy involves Social Security spousal and survivor benefits. If you are divorced after at least 10 years of marriage and have not remarried, you may be eligible to claim Social Security benefits based on your ex-spouse's work record, even if they have remarried. This is a right many divorced seniors don't exercise because nobody told them it was available. And for widows and widowers, the survivor benefit rules are generous. You can receive up to 100% of your deceased spouse's benefit if you wait until your full retirement age to claim. If you claimed early on your own record, it may be worth speaking to a Social Security benefits counselor about whether switching to a survivor benefit makes sense for your situation. My friends, I know we covered a lot of ground today. And I want you to know I didn't take a single shortcut. Every dollar we talked about matters. Every strategy we discussed is real, and every piece of this information applies to real people, in real households, trying to make ends meet on income they spent a lifetime earning. The most important thing I want you to walk away with today is this: you are not alone in this, and you are not powerless. The system is complicated. Yes, the rules change, absolutely. But when you stay informed, when you check your benefit statements, when you ask questions and push back when something doesn't look right, you protect yourself. And that's exactly what this channel is here to help you do every single week. If this video helped you today, please share it with a friend, a neighbor, a family member, anyone who might be missing out on money they deserve. Leave me a comment below and let me know what topics you want me to cover next. And make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, because the rules are always changing, and I will always be right here to help you understand them. God bless you, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.